Good evening, everyone. Apologies for that minor sound issue. We are on a riverboat. That is how things go. Good evening to you all. We hope you are staying safe. We hope you are staying healthy. We hope you are watching us wherever you are in the world. We don't know where we are either. We know that we are above, or we are aboard the Atzapadalin riverboat. We somehow set sail from beautiful Branson, Missouri, but we have been sailing north up the Mississippi, which I didn't know was possible. But all we do know is that we are here on a riverboat that was not designed to be sailed upon, and we've got Global MEGAFist 12 action. My name is Derek Osceola. I'm joined, as always, at a safe social distance by Lucille Cramblecore. Lucille, it's good to be here because there's literally nothing else to do on this ship except when there are fights happening.
Absolutely, Derek. It's great to be back near, but not close to you, somewhat near this octagonal-like cage structure. God, I miss so many minor things. You know, it's weird being on the Atzapadalin. I saw an apple floating by in the water, and I scooped it out and I ate it just for some change of pace in the food, and I got real sick off of it. But I do it again in a heartbeat because those buffet mashed potatoes are wearing pretty thin on my taste buds.
They are very they are a focal point these days. Yes. It is amazing that we are getting replenished with food and yet no variety or worry about nutritional value, but nonetheless, we are here to call some action for you. This evening, our suffering is for your entertainment, and we've got a huge night of fights for you. It is the fourth fight for the middleweights here in the group stage of the Global MEGAFist 12. Our main event, brand new newcomer, 3 Ezekiel, subset alpha, the man who claims to be from the future, is proving that he knows exactly what his opponents are capable of and is stopping them. He's got a 2-1 Donnie Bay tonight. Lucille, 3 Ezekiel has shown he is unstoppable. He has submitted every opponent in the first round so far for a total of 18 points. I don't know what, if anything, could stop him.
Yeah, I guess maybe if there's a person from a future beyond 3 Ezekiel subset alpha's future, that might work, or an alternate timeline. I don't want to get too much into it. It's gonna make my head hurt and my nose bleed real bad, so I'll just say he's an amazing fighter on the ground, and Donnie Bay's gonna have a tough road ahead of him if he wants to get through 3 Ezekiel tonight.
Yes, Donnie Bay, also an accomplished ground fighter, but does he have the ability to hang with 3 Ezekiel? We'll have to find out. Another fight in Group A, Grover Fuppenberg, 1-2, taking on, this is one of the surprises of the middleweight division, Dale Branston, defending Global MEGAFist 12 champion, has started 0-3. If he wants to stay alive in the Global MEGAFist 12, if he wants to stay in that level, if he doesn't want to get relegated to the Hyperfist tournament, he's got to start winning. And this is, it is do or die for Dale Branston at this point.
Yeah, he has not had a great 2020. No one really has, personally, professionally. But Branston, as you mentioned, he is our reigning middleweight champion from 2019. He is yet to win a fight in the new year. Fuppenberg, he might be just the guy to kickstart Branston's run, but he's not going to be an easy victory.
No, we've seen a lot more from Fuppenberg, I think. Despite him being 1-2, he did get that decision victory over Chet Lama, but has also lost 2 straight as well. So it is very much do or die for both of these fighters. The third fight in Group A, Chet Lama, Paranorman, our host. This is basically the 2 fighters who are kind of in the middle of the pack at the moment. Third versus fourth. It just works out that way today. Whoops, we had, there we go. We have that. There we go. And, I think for either fighter, this is a good chance to make a challenge for that second place spot to hang with 3 Ezekiel subset alpha.
Yeah, both men are going to have to really show something tonight to get up in that second place ranking. I'm pretty sure 3 Ezekiel is uncatchable at this point, but even if you just slide into the second spot and make the playoffs, that's good enough to go on a run from there. So either man has plenty of capability of pulling off a big win and just rolling through the rest of the 2020s.
And just to show you where we are going into this, 3 Ezekiel subset alpha, a win for him pretty much solidifies his spot at the top and into the playoffs. The top 2 will make it to the semifinals from each group. Chet Lama, Paranorman, and Fuppenberg and Branston. Everyone has something to fight for in Group A. Let's head over to Group B. Gordon Wu and Ed Picayune. Picayune started strong with a submission victory over Ken Dahl. He's fallen off, lost his last 2 fights. Gordon Wu has been tough. He has been so fantastic. He has improved so much this year with wins via TKO. Pretty much, I think, in all of his fights, he knocked out Ken Dahl in his most recent fight. Ed Picayune's going to be a tough out, but Gordon Wu, this is going to be a fun one to watch.
Oh yeah, it's going to be a great fight. Picayune, coming up from our Hyperfist qualifying tournament at the end of last year, looked really solid there. Gordon Wu has just really turned things around. He had an okay 2019, but he is a very, very much improved fighter here in 2020. It's going to be a good one.
No doubt about that. Meanwhile, we are going to go ahead and our next fight, Jerome Glorioso, a man who has struggled a bit, 1-2, but keeping pace so far with Gordon Wu has been Leon Pagliacci. Pagliacci has another one just as much as Wu. Pagliacci has taken this opportunity and has really gone through his competition of Ken Dahl, the Tumor of Justice, and Ed Picayune. He's already got a decision victory over Picayune. And should both fighters win today, it's a 4-0 versus 4-0 battle in our final group stage.
That's going to be outstanding. But, Pagliacci can't look past Jerome Glorioso. This is a guy who, really had a great 2019 again. Has struggled so far in 2020, but is more than capable of putting that first loss on a guy like Pagliacci's record if he's not careful. He doesn't give plenty of respect to his opponent.
Yeah, that's the beauty of this Global MEGAFist 12 is that everybody is a dangerous opponent no matter what the fight and no matter who the matchup is. Speaking of Ken Dahl, 0-3, a bit of a surprise for us as well that he's not really going that he has not had the best of 2020s as well. He takes on the Tumor of Justice, a former a finalist of he lost to Dale Branston in the finals last year, and he has started 1-2. Both of these fighters need to kickstart their year fast.
Oh, absolutely. Even if you're not guaranteed a chance to move on to the playoffs, avoiding relegation is got to be forefront of both these fighters' minds. A loss for either man is going to be super dangerous to sticking around for next year.
Absolutely, definitely. And there you see how the standings are going. It's Wu and Pagliacci neck and neck at the top. Tumor of Justice, Ed Picayune, Jerome Glorioso each with a win and 2 losses. Ken Dahl at the bottom. Any result for those 3 through 6 can really shape this whole table with just one result. Fans, we're going to go get you to the action in just a few minutes. However, you've heard us talking about points. You've heard us talking about wins and losses and advancing. And if you happen to be wondering, well, how does the Global MEGAFist 12 work? Here's a quick explainer.
The Global MEGAFist 12 is a grueling competition like nothing ever seen before in mixed martial arts. First, the 12 fighters are drawn at random into 2 groups of 6 fighters each. Each fighter will face off against the other 5 in their group. A win is worth 3 points, while a draw is worth 1. In addition, bonus points are awarded for how fast a fight is won. Winning in the third round is worth 4 total points, a second round win is worth 5, and finishing a fight in the first round gets you 6 points in all. After all 5 rounds of competition, the 2 fighters who finish in last place are relegated from Global MEGAFist 12 and must earn their way back in next season. They will be replaced by 2 fighters from the HyperFist qualifying tournament. The 2 fifth-place fighters will be matched up against 2 more fighters from the HyperFist qualifiers, with the winners earning their spot in next season's Global MEGAFist 12. The top 2 fighters from each group advance to the semifinals, where the first-place fighter from each group will take on the second-place fighter from the other. The winners of these fights will do battle for the championship. It all comes down to one thing: win, and win fast. And the title of Global MEGAFist 12 champion awaits.
Well, that is how it works. If you don't understand after that, well, the best way to find out how the Global MEGAFist 12 works is to see it in action. And our first fight coming up right now, Chet Lama versus Paranorman, our host. This is our opening fight, the tail of the tape. A slight reach advantage for Chet Lama. They were, of course, given their seat, asked for their senior superlative, what they were most likely to do. Chet Lama try and fail to leave Alabama. He just really wants some peace and quiet.
I guess he can just stay on the boat and never go back home, if that's...
That's a fair point. I wonder if that's what's helping him in his success. He is actually, for the most part, staying by himself. That's a good point. He's not in Alabama. He doesn't have to deal with people asking about how the Tide's going to do. In fact, I'm not sure if there's going to be an SEC season. No news is coming into me whether it was or not, but yeah, he might actually be at peace. That might help his performance here.
You got plenty of time.
Oh, absolutely. The mental aspect of it is really big for fighters. A calm mind. You're not panicking. You're not using up all your energy. Very important for a fighter to maintain a calm and composed demeanor.
And just a reminder, these are, of course, amateurs. These are amateur fighters. They have fought in last year's Global MEGAFist 12, but they've maintained their amateur status because we are not paying them. No one gets paid. Is just the constant reminder here. But again, you start to learn something, as you mentioned. This is a good point to make. You start to understand that there is a mental aspect to this. It's not just going in there and flinging fists and trying to take down the other person.
Get him backing up and make him
Yeah, you know, I mean, for some people, that's all it requires. You know, some of these heavyweights that we've seen, they just, you know, throw their big haymakers and walk off with a big knockout. But you know, for a lot of fighters, there's tactics and strategy involved, and just like that, you know, ducking that punch, getting a quick takedown for Chet Lama. You know, you gotta be thinking a couple of steps ahead.
He's already going for it. He goes for that. I was gonna say I was like wondering if he was gonna go for a ground and pound, but he's going for a submission, as we would expect him to do. He does have 2 submission victories this season already. Subbed out Dale Branston and Donnie Bay, and I saw he was going for one of those, just kind of jamming that elbow, the point of the elbow, right into the face of Paranorman. I couldn't see if it actually cut him or not, but Paranorman doesn't seem to be bothered too much by it. Again, he is teaming with ghosts. My understanding is he is and I think it's very clear from any interview we've had with him that he is just full of ghosts. He's from he hosted a ghost hunting show where he would allow the spirits to enter his body, and I think a lot of them just stayed there. I don't know if they're squatting or if he allows them there or if he is just a husk of a person.
The uppercut is there all day, but you gotta bring something behind it.
You ever want to see a bunch of ghosts fight MMA?
All you need to do is score.
I guess this is it.
You score with your jab.
Yeah, you know, I try and kind of dive in a little deeper on some of these fighters, try and maybe get a few sound bites of somewhat of an interview, but I gotta be honest, anytime I go and try and talk to Paranorman, you know, the room gets about 20 degrees colder. I feel chills up my spine, and my heart won't stop racing. So I haven't really had a chance to talk to him all that much about his situation.
And I think that's probably smart. I've experienced a lot of the same things. And at first, I thought it was just, you know, if it was only this year, I would think that maybe it's the mashed potatoes or maybe it was the buffet. But it is very clearly something is going on there, and you know, I guess they're kind of working him like a puppet.
Yeah.
I don't know what's I don't know what that's I don't know how that works exactly, but you know, I've seen Being John Malkovich, and I know that is a weird thing to compare it to, because that is such a far-fetched idea, but that is the best thing I can compare it to. But he did fairly well for himself. I believe he went 3-2 or 4-1 in last year's tournament. He had a winning record. He just missed out on the playoffs, but I guess the Ghosts are doing well enough.
Yeah, he's fallen off a bit from last year, of course. Yeah, after being any number of factors, unfamiliar surroundings. I mean, I don't know. Maybe he picked up a boat ghost that's not as adept at fighting as some of the ones he was carrying coming into the 2019 season. I don't know enough about boat ghosts to say definitively if that's what's causing his losing woes currently.
My knowledge of demonic possession or possession in general, I don't want to say these are demonic possession. That's not true. As far as we're aware, but I don't know if possession of a human by spirits is an open door policy sort of thing. I'd imagine there'd be some sort of. That's an interesting thought. If there's some sort of, you know, again, there's all sorts of seafaring ghost stories that exist, and you know, every place has its own legends. There's very possible that we could have picked up some ghosts along the way and have been entered into Paranorman. I don't know how the ghosts that reside there feel about that. Is it like a new neighbor? Is it just a team aspect, or does the newcomer have more say? It's all these things. None of us could actually answer it nor would we want to know for sure, because that would involve welcoming a ghost into one of our bodies, and I would like to not check that off a list.
Absolutely, Derek. That is something I would rather remain willfully ignorant of.
Yeah, that's so we'll just continue to guess as the end of the second round hits us, and they go to the towels, and both fighters look fairly fresh. A little cut over Paranorman's eye. I wonder if that was from that driving elbow. But it's kind of hard to score this one. I think maybe the slight edge goes to Paranorman. He's spent a little bit more time on top, other than that one submission attempt from Llama. But again, it's very even. It's all to fight for in that final round.
Yeah, absolutely. He did, Paranorman, that is, did drop Llama with some punches about midway through the second. It is fairly even, I'd say, but I think that knockdown, as we're seeing here on the replay, might have cinched it just enough to give the judges the nod for Paranorman in the second.
That's a very good point. I think I think it's going to be all. I think it's very possible you can't. If anything gets through to these cornermen from these cornermen to these fighters, I think letting them know to not assume that you've won both rounds or either round is really a good strategy. You have to go, and they are going just swinging to start things off. Take a step back. These are not fighters that really are known for throwing stand-up strikes. This is why this fight has been mostly on the ground, is because both of them are really known for just being ground and pound, submission style, just grappling fighters. And we're seeing that Llama taking the advantage inside control already, throwing a couple strikes, 2 minutes to go, and he already hurts him.
Yeah, big ground and pound from Chet Llama. He's like you said, he's a little more known for the submissions. But sometimes you got to soften the opponent up with some shots on the ground before that submission presents itself.
And as you pointed out, he did get dropped in that previous round, so if anything, he at least knows, even if he doesn't even if he hasn't been told, he would at least know that he got dropped, and that's not going to look good. So he wants to kind of even the score a little bit. He might feel that he's behind, whether he is or not.
Yeah, absolutely. This is a very close back and forth fight. Paranorman is really fighting to stay relevant in the 2020 season here. The rest of his fighting career, at least in Global MEGAFist, might hinge on pulling out a win here. I'm not 100%, but it's pretty important, I believe.
It's very close. Yeah, I think. Well, again, Paranorman is 1-2. Chet Llama is 2-1. There could be a way that 4 fighters end up at 2-2 from 2nd through 5th, which would leave everything to play for and everything to fight for in our final group stage fight. It's possible. I don't know how realistic it is, but it is very possible. We have 2 fighters at 2-1, 2 at 1-2 into today's fights, and these are one of the 2-1 and one of the 1-2 fighters. Paranorman needs that win to get back to 500.
Yeah, he's defending a triangle, but he looks to be cut up. I see blood just spraying everywhere with these blows. So it could be Chet Llama who's bleeding. This is actually a very, very good fight, I have to say.
It is. There's a lot of just brutality. They're working their ground striking very well.
All right, stop.
Not to ignore the fact that they're going for submissions. There's ground fighting. These two are bloody messes. And it's going to go to the judges. It felt neck and neck the entire time. You know what? I feel that neither fighter really felt like they had the upper hand enough to put the finish on their opponent. I think that just shows how even this fight was. It's gonna be left up to the judges. 3 points are gonna be given to the winner. Either Llama will go to 12 or Paranormal will go to 8, and that'll be. Could have been more points on the table, but I think the decision is about shows how evenly matched this fight was. We're going to see how this one goes as the judges are deliberating. I think we do have a decision. We'll find out who our winner is. It is Paranorman, our host, getting a victory, improving to 2-2 and 8 points. I'm sure it was very close, but he does, in fact, get the win and stays alive in this tournament.
Yeah, super good fight. Super great win for Paranorman.
I guess as alive as someone who is teeming with ghosts really is. I mean, that's a philosophical debate for another time, but thank goodness we have another fight coming up just momentarily. Ken Dahl, the Tumor of Justice. It's happening now. Head to the tail of the tape for this, our second fight tonight. Ken Dahl has the height advantage. Ken Dahl is taller than you think. You kind of forget how tall and thin and lanky he is, but he's got a huge advantage in height and reach. He doesn't have the speed that goes with it because, as you see, he is in fact the most likely to fill himself with plastic.
Ready?
I don't know
Ready?
what high school class he was
Let's
part
fight.
of that knew that, but they seem to know that was coming.
Yeah, it's surprising. Both men here are filled and have their bodies coursing with just various dangerous substances that. Oh wow, big shots from
Foreign substances, at least, and yeah, big shots. And
Yeah.
the Tumor of Justice, our vigilante superhero, who exposed himself to radiation to hope to get superpowers. Instead, he just got riddled with horrible, horrible diseases.
Yeah, he is. I don't say more cancer than man. I don't know the exact ratio, but it's close enough that you can say it without feeling like you're telling a complete lie.
Enough to have to use a cancer to human ratio. I don't know much about medicine. I don't feel that is a phrase that doctors who work on people suffering from cancer typically use. But he is in fact getting bombarded and overwhelmed by punches and ground and pound from Ken Dahl. He got dropped early, went for the takedown. And, he's going for a submission. This has been the forte of the Tumor of Justice. He did submit Jerome Glorioso in his last fight. Going for that
he has
Kimura.
been fishing for submissions frequently in this opening round, but Ken Dahl's done well to defend and answer back with heavy shots on top. Another arm lock attempt from the Tumor though right now.
Yeah, he has really been going hard for those, and if he's gonna pull it out, this would be how. And this has been, as we said, this has been the forte of the Tumor of Justice, especially all through last year. I think so many, if not all of his wins, a good many of them were by that armbar. He was going for a Kimura, but an armbar has been his preferred method of submission.
Yeah, he is. He's really caught. Last year he caught his opponents unawares, but it seems maybe they've wised up a bit. He hasn't had quite the same success in this 2020 campaign as he did in 2019.
That is possible. That is the thing. When we're stuck on this boat, there is a training facility. Obviously, we have to host these fights from somewhere. So there is a gym that has been sort of repurposed into one as we hit the end of the first round. But, you know, there is a way to train. There are people training on these boats, so
Okay.
it's not just a
He's
matter
tired. His
of,
legs are
well,
tired
you
from
figure
trying
out
to
what you
left
figure
and
out.
right.
These
Okay,
fighters
push the
actually
pace. Push the pace on
can
him.
do a bit of work in practice.
On the ground, you can catch him all day long in that
Yeah,
triangle.
they may not be honing their skills, but they're maybe
Okay.
you know,
He's tired.
kind
His
of
legs are
polishing
tired
them
from
just a
trying to
little
left
bit,
and
getting
right.
them a little
Push
bit
the
better
pace. Push the pace on him.
as the weeks and months roll on here on the Atsa
Well, a square peg will fit into a round hole if you have a hard enough mallet to smash it with, Lucille, is how I figure, is how I compare this to. They may not be fighters, they may not understand the arts of fighting, but, you know, you get smashed a couple of times with a mallet and you figure something out. I don't know if
Ken
they are the
Dahl-
mallet or the ones getting smashed, but, you know.
Now,
Well, I was gonna say Ken Dahl really smashed his mallet into the Tumor Justice's nose in that first round and really busted him up early.
We are heading to the second round, 5 points on the line if either fighter gets a finish. And with both fighters, well, with Ken Dahl at 0, he has not won once. We were talking about the Tumor of Justice struggling. Ken Dahl has been struggling. He was kind of middle of the pack last year. He is 0-3. He needs a win and desperately, but what a judo style takedown from the Tumor of Justice.
Yeah, nice takedown. He couldn't quite get a dominant top position to search for his submissions, and Dahl with the reverse, but Tumor flips him over just as I mentioned that.
Yeah, I was gonna say neither are able to maintain that ground position for any length of time. Whether it's just competence of defending it or incompetence at ground fighting, but Dahl able to take mount. He sees the ability to put his leg over, and he now can control the hips of the Tumor of Justice. It's just his upper body as he's able to squirm out, but Dahl takes it once again. And he's got the wherewithal to know that. And again, that's a base thing. If you're fighting a kid in a schoolyard and you were assumingly also a kid, that's kind of the, you know, when kids fight in the schoolyard, one just kind of sits on the stomach or on the waistline of the other, and you know that's an advantageous position. So it's, why wouldn't it be in an actual mixed martial arts fight? It neutralizes the whole lower body of the opponent. As we saw an arm triangle attempt to choke out Tumor of Justice, but he seemed to be wise to that.
Yeah, you know, typically if you're really skilled at putting people in submissions, you are at least pretty decent at avoiding them yourself, you know, just as the nature of having to be on the ground so much. And the Tumor's pretty good at avoiding subs, as it were.
Yep, put your right arm on his head.
No doubt about that.
Dahl getting caught in another wrist lock again. You know, he's got to be sure he doesn't allow the Tumor to really isolate and torque that over his head and possibly snap his arm.
Yeah, that is definitely, and that's, if I recall, that's a shoulder lock, is it not?
It is, yeah.
That's sort of what it's torquing. But Dahl recovers and lands a couple of shots, and it's stopped.
Wow, he really laid on that barrage to get the finish. Just some quick, rapid-fire punches.
You know, Lucille, I was gonna say that might have been a quick stoppage, but I'm seeing the Tumor laid out on the canvas. He looks hurt badly, and I credit to our referee for identifying that. Maybe it's from an angle we couldn't see as we're checking the replay out, but he must have been in worse shape than we thought.
Yeah, I mean, his hands were up by his head. Covering up is not, strictly speaking, the most intelligent of defenses, and clearly he didn't really have much left because he was on the ground for a while.
Well, that was a huge victory. The first victory and 5 big points for Ken Dahl. Already puts him in contention. He's got some other fights to go today, but gives him a fighting chance, and that is really sometimes all you need. And we've got some more action to come. However, we're going to take a quick break from the action. As we've mentioned, we have our Hyperfist tournament that is going through. The middleweights, we've got 8 middleweights, well, we've got 16 middleweights fighting for a spot in next year's Global MEGAFist 12. We're going to go ahead and check out how they fared in their first 2 rounds of their tournament. These are 2 fighters who didn't make it out of last year's Hyper Fist, and we're taking it right to round 2. Patricio Avenal, our starstruck dreams of fame. He's a highway patrolman.
Let's go, guys. Fight.
On D.O. Terra Firma. We saw he hurt Terra Firma. Well, it's interesting. 2 men known for the highway patrolman Avenal versus the man who works on the highway, and he got flattened out.
Stop. Fight's over, guys.
That road pavement is flatter than the asphalt at that point, and Avenal got the win. Here's Thaddeus Rose, our Shakespearean anger management actor, taking on a newcomer, Iggy Thunders. Thunders, well, in his youth he was a punk rock singer. He still, I guess he still tries to these days, but he's found himself here on the Atzapatlan, and he's got a tough opponent in Thaddeus Rose, but he did some good ground and pound, but ultimately this was the result. A triangle choke. Rose, known for his submissions, was very close to making it into the Global Megafist last year. He's trying to do it again.
Break! Lights up!
Triangle choke. We have another familiar face from last year, Dr. Clark Messick, our history teacher, taking on Vincenzo Thompson, Vinny the Goose. Vincenzo Thompson is once again under witness protection. So I can tell you that probably shouldn't have called him Vinny the Goose, as that was his nickname. But Thompson, Vincenzo Thompson, is his name that we know him by now.
Well, I mean, luckily the Atzapatlan has no fixed or, as far as I'm aware, trackable location. So hopefully anyone who is searching for
Stop.
Mr.
Fight's over,
Thompson,
guys.
might find him very hard to find.
That is a way of saying hello, Mr. Thompson, as he got a submission victory in the first round over Dr. Clark Messick. And the last fight of this tournament, first round. Mason Quarry, our violent sculptor who punches clay to form sculptures, taking on Reginald Charles. He is, well, he's looking pretty good in this one, but he is he's one of those prisoners that does the scared straight stuff. He yells at youths. But he's not going to be yelling much, as Mason Quarry floored him with some of those sculpting fists.
Big
Stop! That's it. It's over.
from Quarry, just rearranging, resculpting his opponent's face.
No doubt about that. Well, that is how the first round went, and you see it's a double elimination, so there's now a winner's bracket at top and an elimination bracket as we go to the second round of these fights, and here they are. At this point, it's fighting to stay alive in the Hyper Fist. Loser is eliminated. Winner continues on, does have a second chance to make it into the Global Megafist 12, but the route is so much tougher for this bracket. And you can see they were going at each other here. This is the entirety pretty much of the first round. As you can see, it was an early battle, throwing some tentative punches for both fighters, as I think you can see Terra Firma. Oh gosh!
Big spin attack just takes him out. Devastating.
You can only be so tentative here in the Hyper Fist. That spells the end for D.O. Terra Firma. Iggy Thunders stays in it. You see who his opponent is. in just a few. But on the other side of that elimination one, Dr. Clark Messick and Reginald Charles, they fought it out. They ultimately went to a decision after going back and forth, and the victory, as you saw, that was Messick going for a submission, but Charles also had a lot to say about that, some ground and pound. That was ultimately what spelled the victory for Reginald Charles. He got the win over Dr. Clark Messick. Go to our semifinals, 2 steps away from an automatic spot in next year's Global MEGAFist 12. Thaddeus Rose, Patricio Avenal. Two veterans from last year's Hyperfist. Thaddeus Rose was going for a bit of a stand-up strike, but he dropped Avenal early on in the fight. Avenal came back and took him down and tried to get some ground and pound on Rose in the second round. This would ultimately go to the judges' scorecards again, and it would basically be this sort of exchange and a round like this. The judges went with Patricio Avenal via decision. So he moves on. Thaddeus Rose moving down to the elimination bracket. And here is the other semifinal. Patricio Avenal facing the winner of this one for an automatic spot. Vincenzo Thompson versus Mason Quarry. And it was neck and neck in round 1, but round 2 spelled the finish. As it was, as you'll see it here, the newcomer, Thompson, getting a submission victory. And he may not want to be too popular and too successful in the Global MEGAFist 12 circles.
All right, stop. Fight's over, guys.
There's someone under witness protection, but then again, if you're already here, then I think you don't seem to care too much.
Yeah, seems to me that's clearly the case.
Avenal versus Thompson is for an automatic spot, but the loser in that one will in fact go to the elimination bracket and face the winner of that little mini tournament you see. But that is our Hyperfest, the first half of our Hyperfest. We'll be going back to our Hyperfest in just a few moments. But we have another fight coming up for you. It is this one, Dale Branston versus Grover Fuppenberg. There is so much to fight for in this one, and it is coming up for you right now. We didn't think it'd come to this for Dale Branston, but he is in a must-win situation against Grover Fuppenberg. The tail of the tape, Branston towers over his opponent. 6-inch reach advantage, 7-inch height advantage. And of course, Grover Fuppenberg, most likely to profit off of an original idea. He is the creator of the Puppets. He calls himself a puppeteer.
Are you ready?
That sounds original. They are children's entertaining puppet type things.
Yeah, friendly felt monsters.
Yes,
He
exactly.
won't come forward. Stand in the middle. Go that left, right down the
This
middle.
warm, velvety, felt
Circle. Take the
goodness,
side, not
children's
to relax.
entertainment.
With fun googly eyes.
Yes, of course. And oh my goodness, well, nothing fun.
Calm those now.
Branston's eyes were going to be googly if he got hit any better with that spinning back kick.
I want two
That is the
now.
surprise. Branston has been losing every fight. He was submitted twice and lost via TKO to Paranorman. He is just a shell. He is just an empty jar of his former pickled self.
Yeah, I honestly don't know what has caused his significant downfall from last year to this year.
Don't stand there.
You know, I mean, he has mentioned a few times that you know, he's severely big shots from Branston.
Oh, he does
This
drop
might
him,
be
though.
the first-
That's it.
Oh wow!
It's over. It's over.
Sometimes
Big
that's
win.
all it takes. Goodness me. Well, what you? I do want to hear the rest of your thought. What were you saying about Dale Branston that he was saying that he was having an issue with?
He apparently didn't realize that when he got on the Atzapathlon at the beginning of this venture that there's going to be basically a somewhat permanent scenario. So he apparently didn't pack, I guess, quite as many jars of his pickles as he anticipated, and went through his entire stock before his first fight. So he's apparently been out of his world famous pickles this entire time.
Well, that is absolutely unfortunate. Wow, that is not something I would have expected. But nonetheless, that is a very surprising thing. And Dale Branston is your winner. What an important win for him. That puts him at 6 points and gives him now a fighting chance. He did exactly what he needed to do in this Global MEGAFist. Well, coming up next, it's another fight in Group B. Jerome Glorioso, also another fighter who needs a big win, taking on Leon Pagliacci, who has so far been undefeated this year. For this, our fourth fight of 6 tonight, Glorioso Pagliacci. They are virtually exactly the same.
Yeah, I don't see too many discrepancies or differences with these two fighters. You know, it's going to be a good one. I mean, Glorioso's, you know, struggled this year, but you know, he can easily turn it around. He's got plenty of skill, plenty of power to big exchange with them
Right at the start. They made their intentions known, Lucille. I think Glorioso, if I recall, I believe he was a semi-finalist last season. Pagliacci about middle of the table. It's kind of a tables turn sort of thing. Glorioso's been struggling, needs a win.
Work it
But
down.
Pagliacci, yeah.
You're okay.
And say, as we saw in the opening video, these two met last season.
Pressure, elbow. Right hand behind
I
it.
don't have the results right in front of me.
I think that Glorioso won based on his performance. I'm gonna go ahead and see if I have the notes as well.
Control, take the back.
Control it.
Yeah, that is the beauty of this tournament style. You can face
There you go,
opponents
nice. Perfect work.
again and again. Yes, it was a TKO victory in the 3rd round.
Get the stoppage.
Glorioso did win. That was September of last year. Those were better times. We were on land then.
We were on good old land. I mean, we were in Missouri, so
Yeah, so
you
Just
know,
like that. Keep doing that.
hills and valleys in all things.
That's it. Use your right
Pagliacci
elbow,
looking
get
for
up.
an early
Yes.
armbar. Didn't quite have it locked up,
Yep.
but big shots from the ground by Glorioso on this sprawl
Nice.
position.
Turn it under.
yeah, but he goes for a Kimura. He left his arm open. And attempting to submit him is Pagliacci. He looks like he's got a good shot at this.
Yeah, he's really isolating and trying to torque that shoulder out of socket.
He's got it.
Fight's over.
Got it. Wow.
You know, Leon Pagliacci there's not many fighters you can say this about in the Global Megafist 12 who has wins by both knockout and submission. Knockout, of course, including TKO. He's got a little of both. But this is quite the impressive performance. That is 6 big points. And Pagliacci has gotten himself undefeated going into the final group stage fight.
Incredible. That's
And it's very possible he could have clinched himself, depending on our main event, or sorry, the Gordon Wu fight. He could have clinched himself a spot like that.
yeah. I mean, that's from where he was last year to where he is now. I mean, that's a great turnaround. One of the most improved fighters of Global Megafist 12 season 2020.
No doubt about that. That is going to be one of those things we're going to talk about. We'll see how far he can take it. Leon Pagliacci is, in fact, your winner. We've got more to come. We have our 2 main fights to go, but we also have the other side of the Hyperfist to talk about. That is happening right now. Lucille in the blue is
We gotta cut him.
hockey stuntman. He's a go-to for hockey movies. Erwin Hansen. He currently dropped. That is Jay Pinion, the man who is adorned in feathers. He looks like
There you go.
he's
Nice.
dressing up as a bird.
Breathe him up.
He is a bird
Get
feeder.
ready to explode.
He is a human bird feeder, and yes, that means everything you think.
I mean, we've got rodent men, we've got snake men.
All right, stop. Fight's over,
We've got
guys.
birdmen. You know, just why not?
Well, the Birdman did not, in fact, come as it was Erwin Hansen with a big TKO victory. Here we see
Let's fight.
Slobodan Medovich. Remember him from last year's Global Megafist 12, taking on Blue Drummond.
Come on, head movement. Let
Blue,
your
of course, a
hands go.
nickname.
In the middle. Let
This
him come
man
and fight.
obsessed with the Blue Man Group has been trying to join their ranks.
Back him up.
I imagine he thinks that becoming a fighter
He won't come forward.
might
Chin
help.
down, nice and tight.
I don't know. Maybe
Don't
notoriety.
chase him.
Oh, goodness me.
Big
that
knee up the middle. Yeah. He's leaving Slobodan Medovich black and blue.
Stop.
with
That's
those
it.
punches.
It's over.
That's the win in the first round. That is an impressive debut for Blue Drummond. Brucey Lark, Wilhelm Schrei. Our composer was in last year's Global Megafist 12, was relegated. Brucey
Ready
Lark
to move. Pick that
is
leg
a
up.
lumberjack, and he's
Submission time.
okay. In fact, he did
There it
he did
is.
more than okay
Double
in
up,
this
double
victory.
up. Boom.
Way to work.
I am saddened to see Wilhelm Schrei is back in Global Megafist. Has been, is stuck on the Axe of Hadland. I would have hoped he would have retired after last year. This is making me sad, Derek.
That's it. It's over. It's over.
Sometimes it's just not cut out for some people. He does fall to Brucey Large. And the fourth fight of the first round of this side of the bracket.
Press forward.
The impossible
Punch
Robbie
and then
Cheadle, the
move.
man who is very
Put them
plant-based.
together. Don't stay in his range.
Human,
Kick the leg
somehow.
now.
I don't know how that works again. Birdman,
Double up,
Squirrelman,
double up,
Snakeman.
boom.
Why not a plant-based man? He's taking out. This is appropriate though. He's
Keep
taking
moving
on
to the outside.
one-man
Come on,
slaughterhouse.
Let your hands go.
Kilgore Cray.
Gotta work.
And that nickname, the one-man slaughterhouse, is because he
Gotta set
is
that up.
a small business owner. He runs a slaughterhouse. He's a one-man slaughterhouse owner.
Stop. That's it. It's over.
And I guess the food wins. I'm still trying to wrap my head around what plant-based man refers to.
Me too. Me too. That's not to think too much about it. But he still moved on, so he might have to be someone we have to deal with.
Yeah, sadly, all we have time is to think about things at this point.
Pretty much. I'm saying this is a cry for help, but I have to imagine someone working with Story is not hearing us. Please. Please. Elimination fight here. Jay Pinion
Women, drop the elbow.
and Slovan
Hand that as an
Medvedev.
elbow.
And look at this. Slovan Medvedev.
Put your right arm on his head.
They get to the Birdman. Medvedev, of
Keep
course,
stepping the outside.
Don't stand there.
freelance ambulance driver. Basically puts a lava lamp on top of his Honda Civic and drives around blasting a siren. And to be fair, it's cheaper than a bit of beer, cheaper than a cabin drinks, but he is actually going to
That's
get
it. It's over. It's over.
Wow, big knockout, big win for Slovan.
They're going 0-5. He picked up his first
Gentlemen,
win
you ready?
in
You ready?
Megafist 12 in the Hyperfist. Wilhelm
Let's
Schrei,
fight.
Kilgore, Krang. We go right to the third round.
Hands
It
up.
didn't
Hands
take
up.
long. It did take a third round, but the
Let
third
your
round did
hands
not
go.
take very long.
Again. Don't stay in his range.
You see, there's already
Head
damage
movement.
on both fighters.
Make him
They
reach
went
it and
through
make him
war.
pay.
Very cagey
Just keep
affair,
picking at him.
but
Watch the
ultimately it
switch,
was
watch the
Krang
switch.
getting the win.
Kick the leg now. In and out, in and out.
Oh,
That's it. Devastating.
Stop. That's it. It's over.
highlight reel.
Oh. Someone needs to prevent Wilhelm Schrei from putting on a pair of MMA gloves ever again. Just stop it for that poor man.
I'm not going to say you're wrong on that one, but I mean, there is something beautiful about watching someone get knocked out.
Get off the fence. Turn
But
him
you're
out.
probably right. And normally we'd say what color trunks they're wearing, but they're both wearing blue. But I feel like you should be able to tell the difference between Erwin Hansen and Blue Drummond.
Here we go.
It was the second round
Just keep
where the
picking
finish
at him.
came.
That's it. It's over.
On the
It's
final,
over.
I think it was Drummond mounting and knocking out the hockey stunt.
Now I've noticed. I don't know if you caught this, Derek. Blue Drummond was out of the blue corner in both of those fights.
Back up and then run through it.
Blue tape on his wrists.
A couple jabs and he's backing up.
I wonder if he'd have the same. We mentioned psychology earlier. Mental. If he's in the red corner. Do you think he'd perform as well?
Very
Something
good
to look
point.
out for.
Well, the impossible Robbie Cheadle started things out
gotta fight
by
for
dropping
Idaho.
and almost finishing Brucey Large.
Put your right arm on his head.
And
Punch
again,
his face.
a bit of a vendetta. It was plant-based
Watch
versus
where we grab your
slaughterhouse.
leg.
Now it's plant-based
Yeah.
versus lumber.
Stop. Fight's over.
And
Fight's over,
plants
guys.
win out. Robbie Cheadle versus Blue Drummond. The winner of that fight goes to the Global Megafist 12 in 2021. Other four will have to fight their way through to get a chance at it. that is how our Hyperfist is so far. Next time we feature the middleweights, it will in fact be the next 2 rounds. And we'll get even further into it. And what we have next is this fight. Undefeated so far in 2020, Gordon Wu taking on Ed Picayune. That fight is happening right now. Tale of the tape for this, our co-main event. Gordon Wu has fantastic height and reach for 185. I think he's one of the tallest fighters we have in this division. Towers over Ed Picayune. But beware, Picayune has shown that he is cagey and that he has some tricks up his sleeve.
Let's fight.
Assailant number 3 versus the vigilante journalist. Here we go.
And then run and throw it.
Yeah, absolutely. Picayune is if he's smart, he's gonna get this fight to the ground because Gordon Wu is just way too dangerous to stand and trade with him.
Agree with you on that one. I'm looking up some stats. Gordon Wu.
Keep moving.
Look at this. How recent are these?
Don't do anything sloppy.
This does not include our most recent, his most recent fight where he had a knockout of Ken Dahl. Gordon Wu is, well, he's stuck in a submission. He's stuck in a triangle right now, and he's tapping out. And just as you said, wow. Well, I was gonna say Gordon Wu has 5 wins so far in all of Global MEGAFist 12, all by knockout or TKO. But that is a submission loss. And that is I hate to say a surprise. I feel it's disrespectful to Picayune, but Gordon Wu has been unstoppable up until this point.
Oh, 100%. I mean, 3-0, those big knockouts this season. He's a dangerous fighter on the feet, but Picayune recognized the power in his corner lay on the ground and was quick to get it there and submitted Gordon Wu. Great win.
Outstanding win, an absolutely outstanding win. Picayune, before we even could blink. Wow, that is just a shocking result. But it is a main event that is, well, it's going to be a great one. 3 Ezekiel subset alpha. Donnie Bay. It's main event time, and it's happening now. roll the tape for this one. Height, very similar. Reach, very similar. Donnie Bay most likely to run in slow motion, appropriate enough. Most likely to, I already did. Sometimes I feel like 3 Ezekiel subset alpha just wants the fact that he knows the future.
He kind of rubs it in our faces, I feel, at times.
A little bit, yeah. It's a bit. I get him.
Let's go, guys,
I like
fight.
to think that he doesn't intend it, but it comes across that way sometimes. Anyway, was running some numbers, getting some notes to double check on some things. But I can tell you right now that based on the other results, as Donnie Bay going for a key lock to start things off.
Control his wrist.
Wow, this is interesting.
It's a very interesting strategy going for the submission against the man who has submitted opponents in every fight so far in the first round. Regardless of result, 3 Ezekiel subset alpha with his 18 points and 3-0 record, and he goes for an armbar, has qualified for the semifinals already. He has already guaranteed a top 2 spot based on results today.
Get cranking.
Wow, that's
Donnie Bay.
incredible.
Donnie Bay, and maybe he knew that by trying to get that win in the first round. Donnie Bay, with the right result, if he wins early enough, I think a second round victory for Donnie Bay or better will put him in the semifinals with 3 Ezekiel subset alpha as well.
Wow, that's
Lots to
incredible.
fight for, everything to fight for. Just shows how evenly matched so much of this is that you can have one fighter dominate the division and just leave it up to chance for everybody else. But Bay still has to get through the unbeatable 3 Ezekiel subset alpha. The unbeatable so far.
Yeah, I mean, we saw his career record at 6-1. That one loss was in the Hyperfist. I believe it was to Ed Picayune, if I'm not mistaken.
It was a decision loss.
Yeah, but then since then he has completely obliterated the Global MEGAFist 12 competition propers. He's looking for a submission on our. I guess Donnie Bay is our resident lifeguard aboard the Atzapadlin. I haven't seen anyone want to go into any of the bodies of water we've been in.
As far
So
as I know, yeah.
Yeah, but speaking of that, I mentioned to 3 Ezekiel, if he had any thoughts about facing, Donnie Bay, a lifeguard, someone who saves lives. And he told me where he's from, they don't have oceans anymore.
Come down with a good one.
What?
Stop.
Yeah,
Time,
he
guys.
just said that for a while he remembers reading about the great boiling seas, but now it's just desert.
Gets that back, you fight that 2-on-1. If he gets that body lock,
It's just a very salty desert.
You swim that arm over.
I don't know how to feel about that.
I left.
Hey,
I
you're never
could
gonna
not
stage, you
take
turn,
any
I
more
want your knee and
horrible
dig to the
future
body.
knowledge.
Now, on the ground, you can catch him all day long.
I think I need to go cry after this is done.
Okay?
Yeah, I need to.
Got it all day long.
Do we donate to Greenpeace? Is that what we? I don't know what to do.
I guess. I mean, I don't know. I don't want to start thinking about how paradoxes work and continuums and tears and I'm not the biggest sci-fi fan, so I don't know how it works, nor do I know if that's even accurate.
I mean, maybe he's from like 50,000 years in the future, and
Sure.
it'll be fine for
you ready?
most of us.
That's what I'm going to go ahead and tell myself as well.
Let's go, guys. Fight.
Well, we are into the second round. 3 Ezekiel subset alpha has never been in a second round as a Global MEGAFist 12 fighter.
Yeah, maybe he's maybe knowing he's made it all the way to the semifinals, he's taken his foot off the gas a little bit.
Well, again, Donnie Bay with a win in the second round. There's the armbar again from 3 Ezekiel trying to get that finish. A win for Donnie Bay will solidify his spot. He's not out of it if he loses, but a second round win is 5 points, and he taps out.
Tight armbar gets the submission for 3 Ezekiel.
What a submission. Who is going to stop this man? It's like the future. It's just inevitable. Who will stop 3 Ezekiel subset alpha? He gets another win. And it's something to be said when the only blemish on his record this year is he didn't win in the first round. He had to wait till the second round to do it. 23 from a possible 24 points.
My goodness.
And you even saw like a look of inevitability in the eyes of Donnie Bay, almost as if he should have known this would happen. Ezekiel Subset Alpha, well, if he knew it was happening, he brought it into existence. He is your winner yet again. Automatic semifinalist for Ezekiel Subset Alpha. He is one of 4. And that will be how things shape up for this, our 11th episode of the Global MEGAFist 12. Let's take a look at our results. For Ezekiel Subset Alpha with the win. Dale Branston, big win for him, 6 big points. Paranorman gets the decision victory over Chet Lama. And Lucille, look at what this does to our standings. Look how close the battle is from second all the way down to 6th. Everything to fight for.
This is super close. I am really intrigued at these upcoming fights in October.
Can I Lucille, if I can tell you, Dale Branston has a chance to be a semifinalist.
Yeah, I'm seeing that.
He can
He
win.
Needs a first round win.
Mm-hmm.
And Donnie Bay. Well, he's fighting Donnie Bay, so a first round win over Donnie Bay.
And Chet Lama losing to 3 Ezekiel Subset Alpha, and Grover Fuppenberg beating Paranorman. It's possible. Everybody except for Fuppenberg. Well, Fuppenberg is fighting for survival, but everybody has something to battle for in Group A. Do not miss October 12th when we get to our final group stage battle and find out which 2 of these 6 will emerge. Meanwhile, Group B, Ed Picayune with the upset win over Gordon Wu. Pagliacci with his big win. The Tumor of Justice getting a much-needed win, and here's how it shapes up. Again, we're seeing 3 fighters battling for that top 2. Suddenly, Gordon Wu's spot is not a certainty. Leon Pagliacci's not a certainty. Everything to fight for.
Yeah, this is another really, really great, just standings, how everything's shaken out. Couldn't have asked for a better setup. I mean, I guess maybe Pagliacci and Wu being undefeated going into the final fight, but
would have been for seeding, but still, it would have been outstanding to see, and we're still going to see a great fight. Again, these are complete random draws. It's beautiful how it works that way, but the Tumor of Justice and Ed Picayune, Tumor of Justice trying to just, again, those 4 through 6, just trying to stay above that line. 4th place means you don't have to fight for your spot, and 5th place means you don't have to automatically find yourself back in the Hyper Fist. So there is a lot to fight for. Dahl versus Glorioso, going to be a cagey affair as well. That is how it works. But, however, you can join us next week, August 31st, for our 12th episode. The lightweights have their 4th battle. Miroslav Florislava versus Zeke Apnea. Trevor Sereno versus Walter Birch. Ruben Fondant versus Kel Howard. Deputy Snooter Magnum versus JC Switcher. Beginner's Swordhouse versus Rob Lynn. That was a fight. That was an outstanding one last year. They're going to do it again. And Rear Sergeant Val Gibbs versus Charlie Valentine. Lucille is just a week away. I'm ready for it now.
Yeah, I can't wait for the 31st. It's going to be a great night of fights.
Aside from the fact that we really have nothing else to do, then Most Glorious Mr. Naga, could you send a board game or a deck of cards or something, and we could try to play it at a distance? Doesn't even send us masks.
Yeah, like some gloves and like a tennis ball. And you can just kind of bounce or roll it back and forth.
Yeah,
I'd appreciate that.
Yeah, but I will say there are people who are very vigilant about the social distancing thing here, except within the gym, of course. But nonetheless, that is our show. Lucille, thank you as always. I guess it'll just be another dessert at the buffet, and then I'm going to go cry thinking about Ezekiel's future. But we will see you here again. For Lucille Crammelcorn, I'm Derek Osceola. This has been the Global Megafist 12, and we'll see you next week for more fights.